Here we are. So I am Gareth Bayliss, and this is another Icehouse podcast. And today I'm welcoming Sarah Ramsay. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Gareth.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. No, thanks for doing it. Just saying about your lovely view in the background. Whereabouts are you today?
So I'm at home today. We live about half an hour south of Dunedin. We're what you call modern hippies. We're on an off-grid forest. So I've just cut the work in progress deck out a little bit because it's been like that for about 3 years, but we're getting there.
Oh, good. Well, you're very busy. I mean, people who don't know, I'll give the overview. Sarah has, you started by running your own marketing company for about 9 years. And then you and your husband, Alex, bought his family business, United Machinists, which is when we met. And then you've also, since 2016, been the chair of Startup Dunedin. And you're a mum to wee little Finley as well. How old's he?
He's 4.5.
So you are pretty busy.
Reasonably, yeah.
I meet people like you and I think, how the heck do you do it all? And then when I ask you that question, they go, reasonably,
Yeah,
could be more.
Most of the time it's manageable. It's just when everything hits at once that it becomes reasonably unmanageable. But we've got great teams in all of those organisations, and Finn is pretty good at entertaining himself when he has to.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's essential.
Yeah.
And so your Icehouse connection, you did the owner-manager program 18 months ago or so, 2 years?
Oh, no, just finished it in March.
You are?
Literally
That's right.
2 weeks before COVID lockdown.
Was that quite good in the sense that you finished just,
I think, actually what's been brilliant is the network. So we all still chat, and I've had lots of calls, and we've become a bit of a support network for each other. But as far as doing the plan, that pretty much went out the window 2 days after we finished the course. So definitely have been some skills and some learnings to apply to doing a new plan and responding to a crisis. But yeah, we kind of control out deleted on all of that work we've developed.
Or paused it, hopefully, or there will obviously be some things that you're like, we can't do anymore. Or...
there's probably fast-tracked some of it and pivoted on a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, just have to deal with what you've got, the cards that have been dealt. And so give us I think United Machinists is probably, 80% of your work at the minute, I'd imagine. It's quite... Finley, he's probably another 10%.
They're having so many different hats on. They all complement each other.
Yeah.
So I like to, from an operational day-to-day perspective, United is probably 80% of it right now. But a lot of what I do with Startup Dunedin and also with the Southland Otago Regional Engineering Collective, so they're all entwined really, so one complements the other.
And so people who don't know United Machinists, give us the elevator pitch.
Okay, so I'm used to writing these.
Yeah. I know this is a little bit out of your comfort zone, so I do appreciate you doing it, but
So we are a high precision CNC. We manufacture really complicated components for high-tech manufacturers, and we have clients, predominantly Kiwi companies that export. So about 85% of our work is exported globally across the marine, aerospace, medical, and cinematography industries. Yeah.
And so it wasn't always that field. Was it a different kind of organisation before you and Alex took it over, or has it grown into
so traditionally just over 40 years ago, when Doug founded the company in 1977, it was a local fitter turner job shop, so servicing a lot of local industry in Dunedin. Back in those days you had Fisher and Paykel, you had Methven, you had a lot of big heavy industrial and mines and hydro works and things like that. And so it was very much about jobbing, like one-off jobs or very small production runs, quite mechanically focused. And then as the years have gone on, the industry has changed. A lot of the big old industry stalwarts from Dunedin have moved, and the company's had to adapt. And so it was about 5 or 6 years ago that we started working with ShotOver Cameras, and that was when Alex was still working for Doug as general manager. And we started working with this really cool company, Brad and Angus from ShotOver down in Queenstown, and making some pretty cool components for them. And that really opened our eyes to the fact that this was the space we needed to focus on. It was about not focusing on local, but actually trying to find companies around New Zealand and ideally Australia as well that were targeting a global market. And that's really the focus that we went on. We needed to upgrade our basically everything, our skills as people, our technology, and so far as machines. So we invested in a 5-axis machining centre, and then also IT capabilities around ERP systems and everything really.
It's a cool business. So when I went in there, it looks from outside where the door is, it's kind of like Narnia, isn't it? You walk in and there's this little door, and then you open another door and there's millions of dollars worth of awesome machinery, and there's always a new piece of kit because it's always changing, I guess.
If you wait 2 seconds, I'll grab you a picture, I'll grab you an example of something.
Good. We can have a look at your lovely vista in the background there. People who are watching, I'm back at the Icehouse. We are open. We are, here we go, you're back. Oh, wicked.
Probably the best way to explain what we do is to show one of the parts that we make. I won't go into detail of exactly what this is, but no, you can see it's pretty complicated. And so we have a machine that will take that from a block and machine it out. And all of these measurements around here are critical, and we'll be able to, in the case of this, or in the case of medical components, we can get precision down to 0.002 of a millimetre.
Wow.
Which, pretty high tolerances.
Yeah. What was that from? Can you tell us what kind of machine that would be from?
So that is made in our 5-axis, but I won't reveal who it's from.
Yes, I understand. And so looking at the business that you came into and you had your marketing background, was it just a need for you to be involved in the business? You'd kind of, I know you've done a lot in the marketing space. Give us a bit of the background of your marketing and then transitioning into an owner of a engineering company, manufacturer.
Okay. Yeah, look, I spent about 8 years in Aussie, predominantly, and did the live-in nanny hospo, and then into a weird segue into investment banking, and loved it, and started out in marketing. When I came back to New Zealand, worked for a listed property company for a while, managing a chain of shopping centres around the country, and then went out on my own in 2008, global financial crisis. Great. Start a marketing company. Moved back to Dunedin, and ran that for about 6 or 7 years as a true marketing agency. And around the time I had Finn, I started to transition into more of an investment company. So putting those two together, and started to make some small angel investments into clients, and really focus on scaling the business down and focusing on margin and optimizing that company. I really enjoyed the marketing game, but what I was missing is actually having my own product and own company to put all of the energy in. And massively grateful to the hundreds of companies I worked with over the years, and learned an awful lot. If anything, it's been a great training ground to develop my skill set. But nothing compares to now being able to really roll my sleeves up and get into it at United. And I think as a marketer, one of the core skill sets you have is strategy, and the ability to be able to identify markets and opportunities. And my skills developed beyond just the marketing strategy to actually, how do we position the company? What team, what technology, what product, what organisational structure do we need to be able to execute on strategy? So it had just grown beyond that, and can't really tell your clients how to suck eggs on structuring their company. So I can do whatever I want at United.
Well, to a degree.
Yeah.
You don't go up to any of the machines and start tapping any buttons, I bet.
Oh no, that's not my place. I have run a machine over the weekend, and we had a complicated part that was a 2-hour cycle time, and we just needed more hands to take it on and off the machine. So
Wow.
yeah, I can say I've run a 5-axis. I pressed the green button.
Wow. And they're massive. Well, they're not massive, but what they're doing, it just blows my mind. After I came down to see United and afterwards I spoke about business a lot. And I think that actually that's the kind of business you have, is that people love speaking about it because, you know, you're at the forefront of, you know, new ideas, working with really cool companies. And in you're a company that's in Dunedin, but you're going worldwide. Has that going on to COVID, has that kind of affected, obviously you had to shut down for a wee while, but of your clients, and has it affected that kind of side of the business a bit?
Yeah, like any business, particularly with companies that are exporting globally at the moment, the globe is reasonably uncertain. So we've definitely had a bit of a slowdown. We've been lucky that we've kept production going. So we kept going throughout level 4 because we provided some essential services companies. We came back in level 3 and ran 7 days, 18 hours a day. So we had 2 shifts running each day, Monday to Sunday. And that just allowed us to catch up on all of the work from March and April that we hadn't gotten through. And thankfully, you know, to date, new orders have been coming in to replenish that work that we've had on back order that we've been getting out the door. It's definitely quite a lot more subdued to what we used to. But it seems that inquiries are starting to pick up again. You know, we are reasonably exposed to the US market through our clients, and that seems to have taken a bit of a hit. But feedback that we've had from a couple of customers in the last week has been that they're starting to see orders coming back through, which is great news. Yeah,
that's good. Was the team eager beavers to get back in there? And when you did the split shifts and doing that in our days, there was no, I know they wouldn't have been moaning, they would have been already there before they got there and opened the door probably.
Yeah, the team's been great. There were a couple of times that we called some of the guys in over lockdown and they were just fizzing to get to work. I've got Nathan, who's my production officer and works alongside me. He just hated working from home, so he's just loving being back at it.
Yeah, it's funny because I speak with a lot of owners, obviously, and people who in Kiwi businesses, and the ones who have found it the hardest are the ones who are hands-on, who are doing things, who are out there actually manufacturing or doing things. People in office roles or people where can you be in the garage or somewhere and do these kind of Zoom calls have loved it because it forces their hand to spend more time with the family. But you're juggling everything still, I imagine, from there because you couldn't have it open at United.
Yeah. We actually had a great time with the team over lockdown. So we had some cool Zoom meetings. We had at least 2 meetings a week.
Yep.
We did some Tiger King themed fancy dress Zoom meetings and superhero ones, which was ridiculous. And one of the things I learned from Icehouse was actually the mind mapping. So we did a mind mapping session, and it was a really cool way to go, right, well, we've got a whole lot of tradesmen that would normally be working on machines. We got everybody set up with computers and remote access and Zoom, and you know, you've heard this talk about digital transformation and companies jumping forward 10 years. I honestly think that happened for us. So going back into United now, everybody's quite a bit more engaged with their emails and with Trello software and things like that. And also with the company strategy, because they all spent some time coming up with prospects and doing some visioning about what the future looks like. So it was a really good opportunity to engage everybody in that bigger picture.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to work in a small, medium-sized business because obviously everyone's taken a hit and the wage subsidy is great, but you know, businesses have taken a big hit. But the flip side of that is that when people are at home and worried about their role or something like that, it makes them really value the role that they have, and then they come to the table and have time to think about new strategies where someone in a role you'd never imagine is coming to you and saying things that, have you had that? You've had people go, whoa.
We've actually had one example where one of the guys regularly makes some great suggestions And it became really apparent over the lockdown that a lot of his feedback around competitor analysis, positioning, prospects and planning was bang on. And so we've actually taken him off the machine and put him full-time into an operational support role.
Oh, great story.
He sent out our newsletter yesterday. So he got into MailChimp and sent out an email newsletter to the database, and it's really cool. That kind of stuff is.
That is awesome. So you said about the OMP, you've just finished the owner manager program. I obviously know why, but why did you do it? What if you was to say before you did it and someone encouraged you to? I mean, you're an incredibly networked person already in South Island. Everyone knows of you, which for me is amazing now. No, it's not. It's great because for me now, you've done it. You're telling other people to do it. And and that's how we live. Why did you do it when a year or so ago?
I think there were two main objectives for me. One was that we definitely needed to cement our long-term strategy. So we really did. We knew that we wanted to grow. We knew that we had some pretty big aspirations to make a difference to New Zealand manufacturing. That's always been a real focus for us. We're quite passionate, Alex and I, about the impact that we're having on our team and the communities and their families. And we just hadn't articulated exactly what that looks like. And so I kind of held off on doing it in too much detail until working through the program, because I was quite adamant that at the end of the program we'd have a very clear picture of what that strategy looks like.
Yep.
And the other reason was just blatant networking. Being down in Dunedin, I do have a good network down here and a great network up in Christchurch as well, but from a manufacturing perspective, the business network up in Auckland isn't as great, so saw it as a good opportunity to extend into a more of a national base.
Awesome. And Stokes, you got that because you already spoke about the group helping, and that has been a theme that we feel very fortunate to be a part of. Every owner manager person who's been through the program has said, well, having people to ring in times like this is the most value that they could have hoped for in times like this, because you've got people to reach out to. And you've also another not plug, but great feedback on the regional business partner fund. So you got some support from down there from the great people. Is it I think, is it Otago Chamber that distributed yours? Yeah, Tara, awesome.
Otago Chamber.
And so you did a bit of work with Andy Hamilton, is now doing some coaching for us, our old CEO, and that's gone well. That's continuity planning, but
he can't hide from Andy.
No, you cannot hide from Andy. Yep.
Down the ball. Yeah, it's been great. I think the main thing I found is we've responded well to the crisis, and I think we were ahead of it by a few weeks, but still it's quite hard to get a step back and get perspective and clarity on that bigger, longer term picture, and also just get a pat on the back that you're in the right direction and a bit of help and motivation. So personally for me, it's been awesome having Andy on my case for the last 6 weeks. And he is, one morning I got up and I had 6 emails before 6:30 in the morning. But great, he's been awesome. And a plug for him has been, having been in the consultancy and advisory space myself, often you'll get people that give you advice, but they really don't roll their sleeves up, and he's been quite proactive at rolling his sleeves up and doing introductions and been invaluable.
Yeah, he lives the values that is, it's personal, and everyone he works with, and it is, and this isn't about Andy, so he's not here anymore, so we can forget about him. He's done. No, but I mean, just that COVID funding itself has been amazing, that we've been able to help people who needed it. And when you reached out, it was obvious that you needed some help, just to have someone else to have there to speak to. And you're not all on your own.
Yeah. I think in general,
Oh, we froze there. Say that again. Sorry, go again.
Just when I was about to give a plug to government. I think in general, government agencies have been really amazing. We've been really well supported by New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, Callaghan, and the Provincial Growth Fund. And our three kind of account managers from each of those organisations were the first people to call. They all called on the first day of lockdown, and they've been on video conferences all the way through and prompting and suggesting different funding and opportunities for us to engage, and also to the point of even helping do introductions across their databases. It's been fabulous.
Yeah, I think the whole of New Zealand's rolled up their sleeves and tried to help everybody, which has been awesome, but especially as government agencies have really come to floor and helped everybody. And I think also the reason why you are front of mind for people is because of your personality and you getting out there and wanting to help other people and stuff. Is in your time in business, is there someone that you've kind of looked up to that's guided you or that's made you into?
Look, I tend to find traits in lots of people. So I love collecting people, and typically I'll find stuff in others that I think is inspiring, or I'd like to emulate, or as a particular skill that they do really well. And so I find it hard to identify any one person in particular. I think, oh look, my dog's in the background.
So cute. How old is he? He looks a bit old.
He's old. He's about 14.
Oh, good.
So yeah, he's not allowed inside when I'm on video because he gets into the fridge. And
good. A wise old dog.
But yeah, look, I think one of the first influences for me was actually my cousin's wife, Judy, and she's this high-powered tax solicitor in Australia. She used to be Kerry Packer's tax solicitor, and she's one of the first partners at PwC over there. And they took me in when I was a delinquent teenager to be a nanny for their children, and always encouraged me to do whatever I set my mind to, and then move into the investment banking space and move into marketing. And it was just their belief in taking a leap of faith in me. And over the years, in those early career days, there were a lot of managers and people that took a punt for a high school dropout with no degree to work for them, and they worked exceptionally hard, and I worked very hard for them, and they believed in me. And so I've always found people that are prepared to take that risk and bet on the person quite inspiring. I've always found people that can remain calm and positive and smile in the face of chaos, a particularly calming influence, and it's something I've always worked hard to try and emulate. I'm not always good at it because I'm a bit of a hothead, so that's why I tend to try and surround myself with those people and learn from them.
Thankfully, I've not seen that side of you yet. I've just seen the nice side. But yeah. Poor Alex.
Yeah, poor Alex. And no. I'm sure that, there's some funny stories from the OMP course as well. What
goes on the OMP stays on the OMP. We all know that, Not even I know.
So I think it's important to surround yourself with people that you can learn from, and that you try to elevate yourself to be at their level. And it comes from everywhere. I had one staff member, my old general manager, Annabelle, and she just had this enormous ability to stay calm and be understanding and relate to people exceptionally well. And she never, Alex says I've got zero tolerance for idiots, and it's just so obvious. Whereas Annabelle was just amazing at dealing with dicks. Yeah.
could be strewn in different contexts there, but we'll
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I need to choose my.
No. I think you don't. That's just my. I've just got a dirty mind. Everyone knows that. My God, I can't help. But Annabelle.
Basically, we used to have a no wankers policy.
Yeah, well, we try to have that. Yeah, I think I think that's a good mantra for most businesses. No dickheads as much as possible, but sometimes they slip.
If we ever had to deal with a difficult person, Annabelle would deal with a difficult person.
Is she not there now? Has she moved on?
No, that was at Immersion.
Cool.
Marketing day.
Awesome. So, I mean, let's wrap up. But before we do that, I'd like to kind of understand, get people to know what kind of person you are. So, a few personal questions. What's your favourite drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but preferably alcoholic?
It varies depending on the stage of the evening, but can't go past a gin, lime, soda, and cucumber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that. And so that's around 7 p.m. Let's talk 1 a.m.
1 a.m. signature shot is probably Black Zambuca on fire.
Oh, yeah. Flaming Black Sambuca.
Yeah.
Like it. If you were on death row, which you will never be, but if you were, and you had a last meal, what would your last meal be?
Fresh seafood platter.
Yum. Yeah. Can take the girl out of Southland. But yeah, love it. Awesome. And so I'll just say, from my point of view, it's been amazing having you as a client, but also working with you. And we really appreciate you doing things like this for us, but also sending the good word of the Icehouse. So it's awesome to work with you and continue to grow that business of yours and make sure you do it sustainably and you look after yourself as well. But, you know, it's been amazing talking to you. So thanks so much for spending time today.
Thanks, Gareth. And thanks for taking it easy on me.
Oh, sorry. And Andy said that you're better on email, did he say, than you would be on video call? Well, he's talking out of his ass because this has been all...
It's all down to the interview, Gareth.
Stop it. I'll take that. All right. Have a good one. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.